The News 4 Rundown starts now.
Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jim Hanley. It's Thursday, May 28th, and here's a look at some of the stories we're following for you tonight. Coming up, more than 300 gold bars, millions in cash, and Rolex watches. What the FBI says it found inside the Ashburn home of a former CIA officer accused of lying about his background. Plus, the U.S. and Iran appear to be moving closer to a temporary deal to extend the ceasefire. A foreign policy expert joins us live to discuss if this fragile agreement can actually hold. And Metro's new bus fare crackdown is leading to more citations and arrests. But some drivers say it's also putting them at risk. How not paying to ride is impacting the transit agency. More than 300 gold bars worth more than $40 million and $2 million in cash. That's what the FBI says it found in the Ashburn home of a former executive at the CIA. The man's name is David Rush. The FBI says Rush also lied to the CIA about degrees he received from 2 universities. News 4's Paul Wagner has our report.
Good evening. This is David Rush's house behind me here in Ashburn Farm. A neighbor who spoke to News 4 off camera said it was about a week ago Monday that at around 6 o'clock in the morning he was awakened by the sound of somebody on a bullhorn saying, "This is the FBI. We have a warrant for your arrest. Come out with your hands up." He jumped up, looked outside the window and saw FBI agents in tactical gear filling the street. The next thing he says he saw was his neighbor, David Rush, in handcuffs. At that point, he says FBI agents went inside this house where they stayed all day long. David Rush is a former CIA senior officer with a top secret security clearance. According to a complaint filed in federal court, Rush made several requests for work-related expenses between November of 2025 and March of 2026. Those expenses, according to the complaint, included a large amount of cash and tens of millions of dollars in gold bars, which was given to Rush. But at some point, it's unclear when, a review of Rush's storage space at the agency only found a small portion of the cash he was given. According to the complaint, FBI agents searched his house. During the search, FBI agents seized approximately 303 gold bars. Based on the current price of gold, the estimated value of the gold exceeds $40 million. FBI agents also seized approximately $2 million in United States currency. The complaint says Rush applied 3 times to the CIA, twice in 2006 and again in 2009 when he was hired. The investigation has revealed that he never attended or obtained a degree from Clemson University. The investigation also revealed that Rush never attended or obtained degrees from RPI, or Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. According to court documents, Rush also told employees he was a pilot for the Navy. That was not true. The FAA saying it did not have a certificate or pilot's license registered to Rush. While News 4 was in the neighborhood, someone inside Rush's home called police complaining about the media. Most people we talked to declined to comment about Rush. None would go on camera. One couple told News 4 Rush's wife and children would take walks in the neighborhood, but they rarely saw David Rush. The FBI says they also found 35 luxury watches. Most of those watches were Rolex. We did reach out to Rush's attorney. She responded, said she had no comment. He's due back in court next week for a detention hearing. In Ashburn, Paul Wagner, News 4.
Now to the latest developments in the war with Iran. The U.S. and Iran have reached a tentative agreement to extend the ceasefire and reopen the Strait of Hormuz, but President Trump has not signed off on the latest version of a potential agreement. That's according to 2 U.S. sources. This comes as the U.S. and Iran trade blows. Today, Iran fired a ballistic missile at an American air base in Kuwait. The missile was intercepted. Iran's Revolutionary Guard says that the missile was retaliation for earlier U.S. strikes. If it's agreed to, the extended ceasefire would launch a 60-day period of intensive discussions on Iran's nuclear program. Asha Castleberry Hernandez is a national security and foreign affairs expert. She's an Army veteran and worked in the State Department under Presidents Biden and Obama. She joins us now live to talk about the latest efforts to end this war. Thank you for taking time with us. First off, President Trump withdrew the U.S. from the Iran nuclear deal struck under President Obama. Has he backed himself into a corner where the best he can get is another version of that deal?
Well, as far as achieving the 60-day ceasefire, first and foremost, it needs to be authentic and not fragile. But if we continuously see ongoing military action, especially like what was mentioned before in terms of the Iran firing missiles at Kuwait, we're going to complicate the process as far as achieving a deal in the next 60 days. So I think in terms of the process or his back against the wall, it may feel more like that if ongoing military action continues throughout the process. Now, another thing, too, is that why hasn't POTUS nor the Supreme Leader really been able to come to terms as far as this agreement? Well, looking at POTUS right now, yes, he is, I was told, advised several times to try to reach a deal that looks better than the JCPOA. And I think that's where his back is against the wall in terms of how do I get out of this war with a deal that looks better than the JCPOA.
And how important is it for the international community to be involved in these negotiations, and how involved are they right now?
That is an excellent question. It's at a minimal. For example, with regards to the process right now, what is lacking is the technical expertise or from the community that usually plays a role in this, like the IAEA, where they were part of the process in the original JCPOA as far as checking or verifying the Iran's nuclear enrichment or uranium program. And then also, too, when it comes to negotiations, you had a key player like Oman, who worked very closely with Iran and the United States as far as ongoing negotiations. We're not really seeing that play out right now. And with regards to the recent trip to China, what came out of it? Well, there was speculation that China agreed that they will not provide security assistance to Iran, but you're not seeing where China is playing a part in negotiations like they did during the JCPOA. So international involvement is critical for this, and it has been at a minimum since day one. You're not seeing much from the Europeans and other critical key players.
Interesting. According to AAA, the national average for a gallon of gas now $4.42. How quickly could a ceasefire help everyday Americans when it comes to gas prices, travel, and our overall economy?
Well, part of that ceasefire is that to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. That is so critical in terms of addressing the increased gas prices. So if that continues to complicate itself where it's closed or there's some toll services happening as a result of the war, then you're going to see where it's going to impact the prices. So throughout the 60 days, I would recommend to the United States, especially, that we have to come to terms in terms of ending this war in order to address the growing or increasing gas prices.
President Trump said Iran is negotiating on fumes. From your perspective, who appears to have more leverage right now?
The International Revolutionary Guard. I believe that Iranian Revolutionary Guard, I believe that they have the most leverage right here. In terms of the Supreme Leader, yes, he did not necessarily come to an agreement in terms of the recent one, but I do believe that in terms of the makeup of the current leadership right now, more hardliner than what we've seen before, and the IRGC is still calling the shots in terms of decision making, and what the last thing they want to appear is as if they are capitulating to the United States. So that's why I think there's a delay going on too with regards to the Iran's side of the house.
Asha Castleberry Hernandez, thank you so much for your insights. We always appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Well, Bruce Springsteen, Foo Fighters, Dave Matthews, Brittany Howard, Joan Baez are set to headline a star-studded protest festival in Maryland a month before the midterm elections. Springsteen announced the festival last night while performing at a packed Nats Park. The Power to the People Festival is set for October 3rd at Meriwether Post Pavilion. A portion of the proceeds from all ticket sales will benefit the organization's vote riders and head count. Tickets, which go on sale Saturday, cost $125 for lawn seating and $225 for general admission. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announced a major federal grant today for Union Station during a ribbon-cutting ceremony at Columbus Circle. Duffy says the transit hub is getting a $465 million grant. The money will be used to help fast-track repairs and upgrades, including fixing the roof, improving passenger concourses, and expanding retail opportunities. According to Amtrak, more than 37 million people pass through Union Station every year. Metro says it has handed out hundreds of citations and made nearly 24 arrests since a new crackdown on bus fare evasion started this week. Bus drivers will now remind riders about the fare as they board, because Metro says nearly 70% of Metro riders are not paying. Our transportation reporter Adam Tuss is in Silver Spring tonight, where another fare enforcement effort took place today.
The base fare, $2.25.
Yes, bus operators now supposed to tell riders when they get on it's $2.25 to ride. It's a process called quoting the fare. But 17-year Metro bus operator John Anthony Gaines says operators should not be doing that.
Why do I need to, quote the fare? Because once I say that it's $2.25, then I might be called a name. I could be spat on or anything. We've had an operator that had urine thrown in their face for just saying good morning.
Graphic detail. But fellow Metro bus operator Darren Jackson says this crackdown to try to get more riders to pay will lead to more bus operator assaults.
No, operators should not be quoting the fare. And I've been here for 28 years. I never quoted the fare, ever.
Now, look, the bus operators that we've talked to today say it's one thing to do this fare enforcement crackdown on the bus with all of these transit police officers around. But when you're by yourself in that bus, driving the bus, that's entirely something else.
When we driving that bus and we're quoting the fare, how many police are with us?
And what do you guys face out there? What's it like?
I mean, it's dangerous out there.
Metro Transit Police tell us they will have more officers out as part of this effort, and they'll also utilize onboard video cameras on buses to see in real time who is and isn't paying the fare.
It's actually great to be able to leverage the technology to be able to observe on video somebody failing to pay the fare, and that way then calling it in from either the command center or we could do it from a laptop in the field and be able to then down the line be able to stop those individuals that were identified.
Metro says about 7 out of 10 riders are not paying their fare right now, about twice the national average, and that's costing the transit agency tens of millions of dollars. GM Randy Clark with a simple message.
We will enforce the fares. People will pay the fare or they will be taken off the bus.
Metro says it's handed out almost 400 citations this week alone and made 21 arrests for bus fare evasion. In Silver Spring, Adam Tuss, News 4.
Ahead tonight on the News 4 Rundown, free food for families. A Prince George's County Library is putting meals on the table. We'll explain who's eligible. Plus, a dozen animals are safe after being removed from unsanitary conditions inside a house. How a community member helped in their rescue. Amelia?
Looking at your evening hours, temperatures staying in the 70s until about 9 o'clock. After that, we fall into the 60s, even 50s by the morning. I'm going to have more on my full forecast after the break.
Tonight, a dozen animals are now safe after being rescued from a home in Northeast D.C. The Humane Rescue Alliance says its law enforcement division seized 6 cats, 5 dogs, even a turtle after receiving a tip about unsafe and unsanitary conditions inside the home. An investigation is now underway. Meanwhile, the Humane Rescue Alliance is looking for foster homes for the animals. You can apply to foster online, but these animals are not ready for adoption just yet. Prince George's County is opening a new chapter in the fight against food insecurity. A free grocery store inside the Fairmount Heights Library officially opened today, giving families access to fresh food and essential groceries. News 4's Mauricio Casillas shows us how this space is helping nourish both minds and bodies.
This small grocery store is bringing big relief to a part of Prince George's County that leaders describe as a food desert. Located inside the Fairmount Heights Public Library, the store will provide fresh food and groceries to 175 families every week.
This is a blessing for the community, and we need this because this day and time, so many families are in need. So we want them to come out and get this, come and get some groceries.
The grocery store was created through a partnership between the county and Gooder, a company focused on fighting hunger and reducing food waste.
I think if you give people their dignity, you give them their hope. And I often say that we're giving people hope in their darkest hours.
County leaders say the need has only grown tougher in recent months. The store is the first of its kind in Maryland, and it's located in Councilmember Shayla Adams Stafford's district. Families can apply for access online, with most applicants so far being seniors and single parents.
So many people have been laid off or experiencing, just insecurity in so many different ways that so many people did not imagine that they would be in this position, that they'd have to go to a food pantry.
For community members getting their first look inside, the store represents more than groceries. It's peace of mind during difficult times.
I don't have the money to buy what I want to buy, so I'm glad they opened the stores up out here. So it helped me out and anybody else that want to do that same thing. So I appreciate that.
It's something that we needed in the community. I'm a senior citizen myself. So yes, I will be using it.
Everything is high. And sometimes you may need a little help, and it's okay to get the help.
County leaders say this is just the beginning. A second free grocery store is expected to open in District 7 in the coming weeks. In Fairmount Heights, Mauricio Casillas, News 4.
We have been waiting and waiting and waiting for weather like this, and we got it today.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean,
Incredible.
Today we had a little bit of rain this morning, making
Right.
it the 10th consecutive day with rain. Wow. Yeah. One of the longest stretches ever on record. And
But
now-
it's gone.
Yeah. Now we're looking at like 10 consecutive days without rain.
Really?
So
That long? Oh, love it.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
But yeah, looking at your weather headlines, 10 straight days of rain. Absolutely incredible. The longest stretch of weather we've had rain consecutively, coming in at 15 days. So we were close to that. Absolutely gorgeous tomorrow on your Friday. The weekend cooler. Temperatures about 5 degrees below normal, but it's still nice. And again, dry weather for days. Our next chance of rain comes next weekend, but hopefully that changes a little bit because nobody wants rain on their weekend, right? But all the rain that we've had has significantly improved our drought conditions in Northern Virginia and most of Maryland, where we're now only under a moderate drought. That's a level 2 out of 5, 5 being the most severe. But you can see we still need rain down in southern Maryland through parts of southern Prince William, Fauquier counties, down into parts of northern Neck, Fredericksburg, and areas to the south, still under that extreme drought. But the rain that we picked up over the last 10 days has really helped our area. Our temperatures right now are in the 70s, 77 in Washington, 73 in Gaithersburg, 77 in Leesburg. What I'm loving are our dew point temperatures. That measures the humidity. Yesterday they were around 70. Right now, they're in the 40s, so it is a refreshing night across the area. Absolutely beautiful, aside from the mosquitoes, thanks to all the rain that we've had. Looking at your forecast for tomorrow, 8 a.m., we're at 62. By lunchtime, low 70s, so have lunch outdoors tomorrow as you're getting out from work, happy hour, dinner out, or just getting out and about with the kids. High temperatures near 80, plenty of sunshine, a phenomenal Friday. Weather having a low impact on your day tomorrow. And then as we look to the weekend, Saturday, a high of 77. Sunday, a high of 77. So below normal temperatures with breezy winds on Saturday. You're going to notice the winds. They're not strong, but we'll have a breeze throughout the day. And then a cool start Sunday morning with temperatures in the 50s, even some 40s potentially out there in the more rural locations. So if you're planning on heading to the pool this weekend, I think it's probably going to be a little bit on the cool side, especially Saturday with the breezy winds. So if the pool isn't heated, plan for that. I would be toes only if it were me. But sports, brunch, lovely, absolute perfection. And then as we look to our next 10 days, Monday, high temperatures near 80, mid-70s next Tuesday and Wednesday. We're back in the 80s by next Thursday. And again, right now, the chance for rain next Saturday and Sunday.
It is a big weekend of concerts. We got Project Glow returning to the RFK Festival grounds in the district, and they are going huge for their 5-year celebration. Talking a half a decade of Project Glow, 2 days, an awesome lineup for this festival. Worth checking out. Or you can see a game and a show. Nats Park is kicking off their annual post-game summer concert series with Tayo Cruz on Friday. At MGM National Harbor Saturday and Sunday, Ari Lennox is bringing the Vacancy Tour to the stage. And who knows, maybe we'll get one of those surprise Phoebe Bridgers shows. The Anacostia Community Museum opens up its doors to celebrate We Make History, an exhibit exploring how history happens, how it's preserved, and how it's shared. It's a tribute to community-driven history keeping. And as Dominic Moody learned, that is how we've helped share the past for the last 250 years.
We hope that those stories will inspire everyone who comes to remember the past, helps them to live in the present, and to shape the future.
And they're sharing the past with us this weekend. There is a whole bunch of family-friendly times to join, also some after-dark adult events too. Or head to Prince George's County for their annual multicultural festival. That's on Saturday. Food, fun, performances, all at Fairwood Park. That gets started at noon. Maybe you're craving a glass of wine or two responsibly. Head to Centerville, and that is where you're going to find the Bull Run Wine Festival Saturday and Sunday. Sip, enjoy, and have a great time at the winery at Bull Run. Cheers to that. I'm Tommy McFly. Have an awesome weekend.
A football-sized American flag has been draped over the Hoover Dam as part of the nation's 250th Independence celebration. Nevada and Arizona leaders came together to organize this patriotic installation at one of the nation's most iconic landmarks. The display includes more than 500 LED lights. The installation will stay up through July 4th. Next month, you'll get a rare opportunity to see an amazing lineup of sea vessels from all over the world. They'll be making stops up and down the East Coast from Norfolk to Baltimore, New York, and Boston. The event is called Sail 250. Tommy McFly will be covering it for News 4. And as Andrew Siff from our sister station in New York reports, some of those ships are beginning to arrive.
With its main mast 138 feet high, Portugal's NRP Sagres is indeed a tall ship.
Pleasantly surprised. I didn't expect this at all.
And New Yorkers and tourists alike couldn't help but notice this giant vessel is here in New York more than a month before it takes part in 4th of July celebrations aligned with the nation's 250th birthday.
That's going to be amazing. That's going to be cool.
We got an exclusive look aboard the ship. Captain Jose Eduardo de Sousa Luis showing us the formal dining room where UN officials joined a luncheon today.
We came here to New York first because we make a diplomatic action.
Captain Luis also talked about the giant steering wheels and the challenge of navigating New York Harbor.
We need sometimes 6 guys to maneuver the well.
It's been 1 year since a Mexican tall ship crashed into the Brooklyn Bridge, killing 2 crew members.
Was that in your mind at all?
Of course.
Safety in mind, Captain Luis said this active naval ship, which has sailed all over the world, is honored to be part of the parade of ships July 4th.
I think it's a very big party for New Yorkers and for all Americans because it's a very important moment for the country.
Look, it's a tall ship. They're beautiful.
Chris O'Brien is president of Sailforth 250. Earlier this spring, we visited his offices, the Nerve Center, as they're mapping out the route for dozens of ships due here in July, each bringing a message of peace and international unity.
Part of the purpose of these ships is to be that platform for diplomacy.
The Portuguese Sagres ship will set sail again Sunday for Bermuda and other ports before returning to New York. Those who got a glimpse today can't wait for the big sail, modeled after the bicentennial parade of ships in 1976.
Spectacular event. I mean, New York has always been big, grand, and this is just kind of epitomizing it.
Spectacular indeed. How impressive. That's going to do it for us. We'll be back your way for News 4 at 11 right after the big NBA game. We hope to see you then. Thanks for staying.